One Family TV wala murtanali nan kotenke.
I don't even beat women and I don't insult people.
Do you tell the Jolas that they are not learned in the Quran? That they don't know Islam?
I used to talk about all tribes, Mandinkas, Wolofs, Jola, and all tribes.
But do you agree that by talking to the tribes or various ethnic groups directly, some of the things you say may be viewed as insensitive?
Fo ibe sonna nyinnal fanam ko ila kawando wijo nyin kono wato do ni ke la kawando fe ke nyatil ndi sio dolla fo ibe sonna nyino ko akake kuma kan ngande mi alon ko kuma kan mi alon ko manke kuma kan sobede siol kan
no, that's not true.
Would you agree that sometimes you say certain things that may be viewed as condescending to some of the ethnic groups or outright insults?
Fo e person nanyim mala fana wato do fana ko ka kawandol di andu ila kawandol ni jube ikake kuma kan ne kuma kan kolna de siol kan
kuma do koleada to nyala mo amanke nendirdi.
Well, there are certain words which can be deemed as hard or spoken words, but they are not insults.
And some of those hard words that you use may sometimes be viewed as offensive by the ethnic groups that you talk about.
Modol keji nyala nyama kafa ko umukuna kan de malon ko kuma kan kolan wala wasiol kan foto nyande
wala karo jola la karo milite kilin ato sila jola le yan commande conference wala foni.
Well, about the Jola tribe, it will be less than a minute. They called me for a conference in Fonyi.
We are not talking about them calling you for a conference. The question is, have you ever said things that the tribes at which you have directed your statements may feel that what you're saying is offensive?
Anke kawando la kuora de meitara menna num conference wala dara menna num Fonyi. Nka men fo la nyinde fo siol kono. Inana ka kawandi kala ba fo ka o siol nyi yenaje ifanto ko ite ka kawandol ke nyame ngaka kuma kan ne malon ko kuma kan dimindi ngol layto la karola
mo sio banko jama ne banko sala kan sa ho a dimida bay to nyalo.
Well, what they usually say is Bakawsu, what he said is really painful, but it is the truth. That's what they say. Whether it's Jola or any other tribe.
And these insensitive statements that you make can engender problems, don't you think?
Kuma kan wandi sivala ni kay kuma kan sival me alon ko e kefo me alon ko kuma kan kuma kan kalsare ngolde nyasi yo do nyawe asi fitino wuluno le fo den do nyaade mo
nada non kuma kan man kalsa den na fitino wulende bay ka kalsale.
But if they were not the hard truth, well, it would have brewed serious trouble. But whatever I say are always truth.
But even the truth, when you speak the truth, you also have to be measured. You have to exercise discretion as a religious leader. Don't you think that is a responsibility?
Then ya for me no be fitna na dan ko akira bala fitna kumati.
Well, the person you addressed or the tribe you addressed, if they take it as offensive, you will quarrel with them. They will even be very angry with you.
In fact, that is why someone almost chased you with a cutlass, one of the Jolas. Is that true?
That never happened.
Well, it's been said here, and your brother accepted that there was a Jola who almost attacked you with a cutlass because you said things that were offensive to the Jolas. That was an accusation made against you.
Me ya fo usaso do branjeju ako akeda ba manja ndunga ngake kawando telebulolla.
Well, the person who said this was Ibrahim Ajeju, but this was during daytime. But not even a single person ever called me to tell me you have offended me or you have offended us. It has never happened.
But you Bakawsu sitting here before the commission, would you accept that preachers in this country should exercise discretion and not stoke tribal problems and not say things that would cause or that would upset the social cohesion that we have in this country?
Silang ite Bakawsu ite fele sirin commission woni nyati no jam fo ilafta ka fa ko mo ni be kawando kala inyanta daga kawandi ke nyaala mi alon ko abe fitno wuluna fo manyana kawa ibe kawando inyana kawando kala nyaala mi alon ko abe tankuni sabe tankuni kairo sabatindi la banko kanjang fo
bi den dunya kono walla kawan la be mo la kawando man si anderi e mam mo la kawando kanon teti.
Well, if you can check in the world today, especially in the Gambia, people liked my preaching more than anybody else.
But
people have their own judgment or their own mind.
I accept Bakawsu. Hold a second. We understand your rationale for doing what you're doing. What you are being asked, whether you accept that as a preacher, someone who many people listened to, you have a responsibility to ensure that you do not say things that will cause strife in this country.
For ya mira mira loro ba ita mukawanda randu nyaron ko la muidi ilam amuy kan dunolti ka kuma fo imanya ka kuma fo me alon ko abe mol kamfandi dale fa amanko manke kan dunode imanya kuma fo me alon ko abe mol kamfandi dale
wala wan soro
No, that never happened.
Ba na kuma do ka mo hada nyala do ka mo kamfandala.
But what I say, some people try to teach other people about it to make them angry, so that's also a possibility.
Well, I am not getting the best translation, and I cannot say this in Mandinka. My Mandinka is so limited, unfortunately. But let's leave the issue.
Sorry. Let him repeat it, and you listen properly.
I just want you to understand whether, or you make us understand, whether you accept that as a preacher, you have a responsibility to ensure that you do not say things that would cause strife in this country, that would cause problems in this country.
Ako, fo etebe kawando menna, fo ni manya na kelela lonkuntu dunoti ka foko, ni be kawando la inyanta kawando kela nyalema, mente molu kamfandila isi kawandi nyake me yalonko, wala be molu kambendila kairo sabatindi banko ka.
No. I think, Musu, can you help?
Nga mira min fo wolem itala mira loto imu kawandi la minti ila mira loto fo ite a mira ko nin kawandi la be kawando kala anyanta ka ke silala mi yalon ko abe tenkungole sabatindi la banko kan ate fitino kala banko kan
wala nyanna kala.
That's what should happen.
Thank you very much. But you were accused of saying things that will cause problems in the country, say against the Jolas or against the Fullers, for instance. That is an accusation that was made against you.
Ni mutu mi mi alon ko e wala fo kan ko ite ka kawando ke nyama ka nyala ti me alon ko aka siol kan fan le fulol lemba fo jola lemba ni ite yake e ke tol fawol fole wo ka sabu ka kan fa ka duyi kono.
No, that is not what I said. I just said that he was accused of insulting the Jolas and the Fullers during his sermons. That was another accusation.
Nga fo sidia anen Islam council ya lon kamoto fo kawandora anen kamonen e fatatale.
I told Sidia, in preaching, to insult somebody and to call somebody's name are two different things.
So you deny having insulted any of these tribes, including the Mandinkas?
Amunda ya so sole ko nyin siol be ngay mem foteng on ngol be ko ko imite meneng.
Yes.
You are also accused of insulting the president.
And you two minina fana ko president ya nenne.
I deny that too.
And for these reasons you were banned.
Amunda udali lolo kamme na tongole kan.
Sa biro akera tolian tong.
After that, they banned me.
sa nada ya safi letter wala na si fulan jang sodo.
Then later, after the ban, I wrote a letter to the Yaya.
What did you say in the letter?
Letter on yindo amuna fudi yamuna foje.
Letter fon be jang ngamen fo yaaye ndaga kawando ke banko ka lungo be.
Well, what I told Yaya is that I do preaching every day in this country.
Nga ke radio do sade momo be kala moy.
I preach over the radio, villages, and many people listen to it.
But
if you want me personally to come and attend your gathering for preaching, it's sometimes difficult. Now they've banned me. People who benefit from my preaching and my teachings will now fail to get those things. I teach people about a lot of things, a lot of different books, which is not Islamic Council's business. Can I continue with that or stop there? Because this is for the benefit of the community. That was the time when Yaya replied and called me to go and sit at a meeting with him. And he called the council to come and sit down so that we can all meet. The reason for this meeting, according to Yaya, was to come and unite us so that we will put aside all these differences and be one voice. He asked about the sighting of the moon. I narrated just what I narrated here, and it was on a cassette, and he was able to listen to it. Then he told the Islamic Council to speak. Abdullah Fati started talking. He said, we are not having problems with Bakawsu because of Islam or because of the sighting of the moon. The problem between us and Bakawsu is that he insults you, the president. He insults your tribe, the Jola tribe. If the Jolas didn't get any other son except you, Yaya, that alone is enough for them. He said a lot of things there just to make Yaya Jammeh angry. You know that the man who does preaching to incite people and to make people angry is Abdullah Fati. He takes power from Yaya and insults anybody he wants to insult. Abdullah Fati insulted all tribes in this country. He insulted all religions in this country. If you want to ask who is the man, the leading person who insults people in this country when preaching, there is nobody more than Abdullah Fati. He once did a sermon and insulted Yaya Jammeh himself about women covering themselves. In fact, one of his sermons, he insulted tribes here, saying that there is a tribe in this country who doesn't get circumcised, and said their mothers have not been circumcised, and he named the Wolof tribe. The insults that he heaped on his Wolof tribe and other is even more than the insults.
Let us make progress about the things that
And he later said that it is Bakawsu who insults people.
We have the video. We will take a look at it. And you've seen your brother testify. That is a video that was showed during that hearing. How did that meeting end?
Then at the end of the meeting, Yaya said, now everything is finished. Let them lift the ban on me. Now the thing will be left between Yaya and Bakawsu. he will listen to Bakawsu, and whatever happens will be between him and Bakawsu. Then after I left there, they wrote a letter to me telling me that the ban has been lifted.
Who wrote the letter?
Islam Council.
The Islamic Council.
And what else happened after that? Did it all end well for you?
Yes.
2010, 2011 problem mansoro.
2010, 2011 there was no problem.
2012 problem
Again 2012 the problems started.
What happened this time?
Silado Ablai Koteke in Adana report Bakawsu Ablai Fatia Kuruboke 18 May.
Ablai Fati did a sermon on the 18th of May 2012
Yala Jumoro
at the State House Mosque,
Kobakawsu Yana Mutala and Yana Torala Kumajama for Bakawsuma,
saying that Bakawsu should be arrested, they should punish him, he should be disciplined. He said a lot about Bakawsu.
Koma Daltanya Naidu Yaja Mebulu Yaka, this is on a
just as he used to do, he will incite Yaya Jammeh to make him angry about somebody so that they'll do harmful things to me.
May 31st in Adana Muda.
Then I was arrested on May 31st.
Okay, Aram,
on a Thursday.
May say Wakara Jumoti in Adambula.
They released me on the 8th of May on a Thursday. Making 9 days.
Who arrested you?
Jumale arrest.
Kabana State House.
Well, the people came from State House.
Do you know the name of the person?
Marini Yalonaba.
Kantia Yakuba Baji.
The man who led them was Yankuba Baji.
And where were you taken when you were arrested?
I was taken to the NIA office in Banjul.
And you were there for how many days?
9 days.
And what did they do to you while you were at the NIA?
I was beaten.
And
they broke my finger. Well, according to what Usman Sonko said, my finger was broken by Yaya Jammeh himself.
How did that happen?
When I was being beaten.
Did Yaya Jammeh personally participate in your torture?
He was the chairman and the boss of those who were beating me.
And because you're suggesting that because he was the superior or the commander of those who broke your hand, therefore he is responsible for breaking your hand. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Interview
afterwards, Usman Sonko went out of the country. They interviewed him. That's where he narrated this. And in fact, at the end of the interview, he said he belongs to the Kasinka tribe.
Akonte mukasinko nyimo jolade ita mandingo nyimo nyende bodon akafunye fansana ngafansana kasinka yaka.
Well, as far as they termed me as a Kasinka, they decided to make me their bantamate. He used to call me Nsanau. Nsanau means a bantamate in Mandinka. So that's how they used to address me after the whole thing.
So could you recall who else participated in your torture apart from Usman Sonko?
Ninga bora Usman Sonko la. Fo yakilo samuro no jumala mokote jumala fana mabete la liparit dinkira nyinto.
Esiara by bedi bolo kono.
There were plenty because it was dark.
Ani awado do fon la frase kas malala pour dimba beketo dimba malo kanda nyadaje ya bulole pa pour kanda mo nyada sure.
One of them in fact wanted to smoke a cigarette. When he took out a lighter to light his cigarette, they beat his hand so that because the light or the flame from the lighter might reveal his face. This is why they struck his hand so that that lighter will not, he will not be able to put on the light.
How many people participated in your torture as far as you can recall?
Yeah, they
might go up to 10 people.
And what type of beating did they do to you?
Yamu libar sivala kela.
Okolo ane pipe.
Some use sticks, some were using pipes.
Anenka fongolo blanco la mbusi jamalo.
And some were putting nylon bags over my head.
Anenka kan deten sinya jamala.
And some were trying to strangle me. They did that several times. Things like that.
Give us a sense of what would happen in a typical day when they would torture you.
Silang fo sim sampulo di non nya ning ayatra be lipagan tilo nyala mala kol ka ke nyaadi le
ke lande kono la tan ye bongolo sion kan sion lo blokan ani sion lo pour kana mamma pour be le parle pana doko bende dam do fe.
What they do is they will put you down on your stomach. You will lie down on your stomach. Some will stand on your legs. Some will stand on your hands, so that they will have free way. They will beat you anywhere on your body.
Normally, what time would these torture sessions take place?
In libaro nying aka tilo nyala ma aka ke wata jumalla.
Sodo
mostly at night. Around 3 a.m.
And how would it happen? Tell us, you are in your place of detention. Tell us how it would happen, how the session would unfold.
Afonye, ibe karo waro ikatare la dingirado yemura damendo yemu wala ye detain damendo. Afonye silan liparo nyi wicho nyinga aka nyaadile, ka ke nyaadile.
Ngada se lo kono nen sudo sira isinam bondi akira telefulate tele kono do kono adam salum follow ane arjumalum follow.
Well, I used to be in the cell. So late at night, they will come and take me out of the cell at night. It happened to me on the first Friday and the first Thursday.
And when they would come and pick you up around 3 or 4 a.m., what would they do?
Sila nina te no masuto talan sabakata fo talan nani kang ke samba dingira de beli paradamento e kamuneke.
I just leave myself with them.
Do they remove your clothes?
No. But my big shirt and my head, my head cover were taken from me.
You mean his gown?
His gown and my head cover were taking me from the gate.
But they don't strip you naked during the torture?
No.
Do they use any instruments on you?
E fentala ba ye muna fanna ibalo balabang ki balo tilimbale wala bang
do ko le mo teleflanja nyam pipe
the first day they used sticks. Then after that, the second day and on, they used pipes.
Did they ever electrocute you?
What is the
No, they never did that to me.
So it was only use of plastic bags over your head?
For
how long would they have this plastic bag over your head?
Many cases when they do that, the nylon bag becomes torn. And when it is torn, they remove it and bring another one.
But while they are doing this, would they ask you any questions?
Yes, when I get up after the beating, when I'm sitting down, they'll come and start asking me.
What kind of questions would they ask you?
Why do you call Yaya Jammeh Banjul Mansa? That means the king of Banjul. Is he not the president of the whole country?
The king of the whole country.
The king of all the country. I told them even Allah is called the king of Lares. And when the white man was here, they used to call them Banjul Mansa. They tell me, would you change your way of preaching? Or how you are operating? Because you used to always talk about Yaya Jammeh in your sermons. I told them, I don't touch him. I don't say anything about him. It is Yaya who decides to take my sermons and preaching as his own. If you do something wrong and somebody decides to preach about it, then it is your fault. Those are the type of questions they ask me.
And for these torture sessions, with all this beating, how would you respond? How would you react to these beatings?
I always leave myself with them.
And the impact of the beating on you?
Well, what happened to me is that the pain on my body, general body pain, and they broke my finger too. That also used to pain me.
Have you ever passed out during any of the torture sessions?
With the
help of Allah, we never reached that level.
What type of injuries did you suffer apart from your broken finger?
No, my body was, there was no wound on my body.
Did you have any lacerations?
No, I had no deforms on my body.
How did you feel when you were being tortured?
When they are beating me, sometimes I used to laugh. And when they slap me before the other slap, I used to laugh. When they beat me hardly, I used to laugh. Because I don't want to be angry. Because we are talking about Allah. When if it becomes painful to Allah, well, that will not be a peace for them. After they left here, the body pain all went to Yaya Jammeh. During those days, it was Yaya Jammeh who was seeking medical treatment because he has money. But I didn't go for any medical treatment.
You were that powerful?
Well, I don't cry. And when they were doing all this torture to me, I used to laugh. And when I laugh,
but what happened to the finger? You allowed it to be broken?
Well, later on, that's what I realized. But somebody got hold of my finger and turned it around and around. Well, after that, that was also the end of Yaya's chair.
And was it swollen, the finger? Was it swollen?
Yes, it's like that. Because when you are doing jihad, you have to show something to Allah in the next world to be the proof of your jihad.
You were released after 9 days. How many times were you tortured? Twice or more?
Yes, twice, on a Thursday and on Friday.
And when you were being released, were you asked to make any undertakings?
No, when I was released, I was released on a bail. They told me to be coming to report.
Okay. And were you subsequently rearrested?
June
on the 8th.
August 15
Okay, on the 15th of August, they came back again. But I was still on the bail and I used to report there every Monday. On a Tuesday at night, Yankuba Baji led a team to my home. That day, a lot of them came and they were all masked. I was at the mosque. They found me at the mosque. Some of them, in fact, even prayed behind me.
ya ko babaji na rafa e ko ngane kamma.
Later, after the prayers, it was that time that Yankuba Baji told me that they said, let us come for you.
Nga munda bi Allah fra kamfa.
I told them, oh, today you want to kill me?
Ako ani atabe sunde wala ya commande e ka ta imam kamma.
He said no, he was breaking his fast when they called him and told him, go and collect Imam.
Ako bayande ma alfad wana ata fon tambite nyaado non da fona siara kada mo mudañ suro.
He said, because I am a respected elderly man. This is why he decided to lead the team himself. But had it been for somebody else, he has other people whom he can send to go and arrest.
Ada dulalo be muda wana sallalu islantela sallalu man janjang jaman sallalu.
Because they stood at every place, they surrounded my compound. This is why those even who prayed with me were afraid. Some remained inside the mosque.
Nga sansi saljo muda no.
I told them, can you excuse me to perform ablution?
Agaso chance dinna.
He said he will give me that chance.
Yakwa fonda madam mamoto balaka manga foten dom bendan kula dombina.
Apart from Yankuba, him alone, nobody will be aware. I will just go and answer and come back.
Belen findira Omar nyolondo ko talibolo ko munemu ko enale ko ngata ndanku banjun.
When I came out of the house, my younger brother Omar and others asked me. I told them these people are from the NIA. They want me to go with them to Banjul.
Adela siafa ni la masilaw.
Then they decided to explain and their fear to me.
Adan ko yakuba lo mena be muda folola telebulo e ko kaira amanga kairati nyin sura ba e ko bi fana be kala kairati.
I told Yankuba that the first arrest when you came, you told me that it was going to be peaceful. There was no peace. Today also you are telling me that there will be peace. Now what's going to happen?
Bodon akabe kala kairati.
He said this one also is going to be peaceful.
Ba na molla silang etolla.
But my people were afraid of them.
Anodumo nga kibaro do soto e bulu.
And at that time I had already got information from some of them
Ko esimutano la koreje.
that they will arrest me again.
Asibayno fana.
And it can be postponed or it can be cancelled.
Ba president ya ko nyol di am de pour na muda.
Because it was the president who told Yankuba to come and arrest me.
Ba ya ko nyol eta the president men kene ba ko fa nyokam ba ko some problem soto.
But Yankuba told the president that those people who are trying to mix you up with the president, Bakawsu has no problem.
Nada asonda ena lo ko le temudala.
If the NIA had agreed to what he said, they wouldn't have come to arrest me.
Ba bula nyol la ka kamfandi ko mo be faye.
People like Ablai and other people.
Ablai who?
Ablai Fati.
Ablai Fati, they are the people who just try to tell things to Yaya Jammeh which will make him angry against me.
So these problems you are getting with Yaya Jammeh, these are things incited by Abdullah Fati or problems you have had with the Supreme Islamic Council? Let's clarify that.
Sila, ning problem o me yalon be abeni Yaya Jammeh tema. Fo nyum mukulete me yalon ko Abdullah Fati wala ka dun kumo dun Yaya Jammeh da kono fo fitino men problem me ya soro ni Supreme Islamic Council fo wala dun ning problem o kono fo ye mutaban. Ning fulo nge pesa ba ngajube.
Sanji folo ko data Islam Council la men toure.
At the beginning of the reigns, the first time, it started with Lamin Toure, president of the Supreme Islamic Council. But later on, Abdullah Fati was the leader of the people who were brewing trouble. Later on, Lamin Toure, in fact, regretted.
And the police in Kambenda, Conde Sunola Makala, a Kongata Dua Lafang, or Suba, Battle from Natala Woro, that's the Mitanul, Agaka Duantele Proco Canansoro. Then
I asked Lamin Toure, after talking to you, we agreed that it's true that we cannot spray the same day with Saudi. Then why did you take me to the police? He said by the time I called him, he was praying for me so that nothing will happen to me. But he said after he looked at things and the signals he saw, I might find myself in harm. So this is why he regretted for what he did. Then when Abdullah Fati took up things, he was the guy who was instigating the whole members of the council against me. He was instigating Yaya against me because he said he was responsible for dawah in this country. So this is why he stood up and tried by all means to make these other people stand against me.
Ablaya fa ko mol ka ba ka sene Islam Council be nyala ko ani ko hana de kilendoron akanyanda be men kelentela mbo jela adala mata bankola dawala.
Ablaya said people used to say that Bakawsu is having problems with the Supreme Islamic Council. Ablaya said no, he alone is it is enough for him alone to deal with me.
Okay.
Whatever he's going to do to me, people will see that.
And on that particular occasion, when the NIA came, headed by Yankuba Baji, were they able to arrest you?
Yankuba Baji nara janala NIA dokulal kapur kane arrest fo nyala bawni nara ne arrest la banke sambaba
Ane belen donda bongo fendira.
No, when I went into the house and I came out,
De amo alabula akasara falela de la kumala bon labanda wala moyla. Ale batung ay sara fala.
what I heard them saying was that leave him. He's going to take permission from his father. That was the last thing I heard.
Fendi bunda be tele jialale mfala bon be tele bola.
Well, the main gate was on the western side. My father's house is on the eastern side of the compound.
Biro kera yakubawo sallalu talibolu mo be tenkunda.
When that happened, Yankuba, the people who were there to pray, everybody, they all calmed down.
Osimile tansi kasiyawo.
Well, it might go up to 10 minutes or even more than that.
Odumola ina ko barta time wala ben telbulu.
That's the time when Yankuba said, well, we have time, we have to walk by time.
Adunda baka ko Bakawsu akabe jamon.
He went into my father's house and asked him, where is Bakawsu? My father told him that Bakawsu is at the mosque.
Odumo wela bay ko dunda wala yele siya be wala.
Because my father is suffering from high blood. He had already gone to bed. But when he told Yankuba that I am at the mosque, they told him that, well, he has left the mosque. He said he was coming to take permission from you. He told them, well, I haven't seen him. They looked everywhere in the compound. They were looking even under my father's bed. That's the time when Yankuba said, well, he has disappeared.
Did you sneak out?
They put light on. They checked everywhere in the compound.
Did you sneak out of the compound?
Yes, they said I disappeared. Well, these things started a long time ago. Since at the time that they were torturing me. When they were torturing me, I was with Allah. Allah came since at that time. Allah came a long time ago. Because since they were torturing me, I could have died, but nothing happened to me. It was because of Allah. Because I am a big marabu. So I was with Allah all the time until this day. That was the day that Allah decided for me to disappear.
Are you suggesting that you disappeared into thin air?
Well, that's something very small on the way that marabus do. We are big marabus. But to disappear is something very, very small in the ways of marabus.
What happened the first time around? You forgot?
Well, this was a test. Because for 20 years, this was going on. And they were saying, Bakawsu is an untouchable. But I decided to wait my time and abide my time. Until this time, they decided to take action. So I was with Allah all along until this thing happened.
But he broke your finger.
Yes, that it has been exchanged with something. Because the chair he was sitting on has broken. He is now...
And
he beat me on my body, but the pain ended on him.
And after you disappeared, you did not stay to witness what would happen afterwards, did you?
Ani?
You ran away from the country.
Otomo ngatile fula fonke ba molu bere yakubala nyinkera mendi nata.
I did 2 days. I spent 2 days in the country.
And then you ran away thereafter.
Mendi came.
Bere yakuba ko mendi lemu yakubala bossiti.
Mendi happens to be Yankuba's boss.
Mendi ka report aka kibaro aka kumoda ya jamme bulu.
Mendi takes orders from Yaya Jammeh.
When
I was with them, they told Mendy that we have seen Bakawsu, we are coming with him. When he calls them, they didn't talk, they don't take the phone. Finally, Yankuba received a call from Mendy and told Mendy that we've seen him, he was with us here, but he has disappeared. That's the time when Mendy told Yaya Jammeh they've seen him, but he prayed 2 rakas and disappeared.
But did you really pray 2 rakas?
Yes.
When you said after the ablution, you said you were going to your father. That is when you disappeared. So at what point did you do the 2 rakas?
No, it was in my house.
Even they were
following me even into my house. No, we were very close to each other. When I went into my house, they followed me in. I was performing ablution, they were seeing me. When I came and stood in the middle of the compound, that's why. When Yankuba said he has disappeared, Yaya Jammeh told Mendy, go there.
Mendy mayalon, by Yajamele Jefa, can need but about there. Is answered new coffer, Silla Kilon, Tabo, Yamo, Bakawsu Kodam.
Yaya Jammeh knows your home.
Yeah.
Adele Jeff Mendy.
He informed Mendy about my compound.
Mendy Nada, I go Bakawsule.
Mendy came and asked, where is Bakawsu? They told him he's not around. So what Yankuba said, that's what everybody was saying. He has disappeared. Because his number, they said he left his phone here. They asked for my mom, they said his mother is not around. When they asked for my wife, they said, here we are. They asked for my father, they said his father is here. But at that time, the compound was completely full. All the neighbors came around. Mendy told my father, Bakawsu is your son. He told my father that Yaya Jammeh sent me. Today is Kitim, so that I can come and apologize to Bakawsu. Whatever has ever happened is now finished. Yaya will not touch him anymore, but let him also stop talking about other people and tribes in his sermons and preaching. That's where Mendy ended. That happened in the presence of a lot of people there. They believe that, well, this thing is now peaceful. But Yankuba and his people, the first time they arrived, and the way they put on their masks, some of them were stinking with alcohol. They said there is no peace here. These 2 things, whether it's peace or not peace. So that's why some said, let's not go out quickly. Because if they go out, coming back into the compound will be very difficult for them. If it is about Mendy, there's no need for them to go out. But But Yakuba and the others who came together, if it's about only those people, then you can go out. That's what people were discussing. This is why I spent 2 days before leaving the country. I called Sukuta Jammeh personally. Because Sukuta Jammeh, Yakuba and Mendy and Yaya Jammeh. But that day, Numo Kujabi was the director of the NIA. I asked Sukuta what's happening there. He said he was not even aware that I was to be arrested that day. He told me there is no need for you to run. He told me, I told him that, but there was a day when the Taranga FM people came and interviewed me. What I told Yaya Jammeh, what I was also trying to make him understand is that let him leave educated people alone. I gave him examples of countries where the governments did very bad things to their educated people and what later happened in those countries. Well, it was very bad for those leaders and it was also bad for the countries. That was the day when Sukuta Jammeh told me, you scholars, if you don't leave the government alone, we are going to beat you people. He told me it is people wearing black who took you up this story building. But when the people wearing red, the day they come for you, you are going to the next world that day. I told Sukuta, well, I hope your people who wear red are not the people around here. Maybe I hope I'm not going to die today. I told him. I told him that you said the first day is going to be beating, and the second time is going to be killing. Am I not going to be killed? Am I going to be killed today? And Numo Kujabi also said they always bring your reports here. But if they report you here again, I'll put your name in the black book. I told him, I hope that's not going to happen today. Then after that, he left the country. Then my people and Omar, they said, well, we know Bakawsu, he will not go. And they said they are going to control all the border areas of the country. He will not be able to leave the country. Those my people became very worried, saying that if they catch me at the border,
so what happened?
I told them he was present, he was unable to arrest me.
So you disappeared again. And since that disappearing act, you remained in exile until recently.
Amunta birilo yemo ni narna yemanda fa ikamita ikanada itambida itara mane ituta mane fo ni wati kono lay nara anara ta Casamance Senegal banko ga
I went to Casamance in Senegal.
Nara obe duaja bon nara be mo sexide jabi taslima.
Then because of the good prayers for me, I met with Sheikh Sidia Jabi of Taslima.
When I
explained matters to him, because everybody was aware of what was happening. Then he decided to inform the Senegalese government that the whole country's visitor or stranger has arrived here.
So in fact, you were given protection by the Jabi clan and the Senegalese government.
Fannala tanko dilala ni Senegal ko la masakunda inarna tanko dilala
akoy baye boda mansa Canada mansa kundala ma sa karfa mansa kunda doma.
He said yes, as far as he escaped from one government, now we are going to entrust his protection to another government.
And until Yaya Jammeh left power, you did not come back to visit your mother, your children and your wives.
Munda itarraje fo kabring mane inana manna Gambia banko jam kumpa boro jam fo kabring Yaya Jammeh wulti boray bankon kan inana manna jam kan dingol jube kan la musol jube kan la talibon dingol jube inana manna jam.
Nada 2015.
Yes, I came back in 2015.
oɗomo yaaja me ko ani men kuyada ana men soron ay bonde kasoro
because Yaya Jammeh announced that those who had problems with him and those he jailed,
Fofana nada fa alo kuma kam ndebe sela mbida banko kondonna
because of what he announced that he's going to forgive those people. I said, now I'll come back to the country.
So you come pursuant to the general amnesty that was granted by Yaya Jammeh.
Amunta o yamfo nyinga yo yamfo menge jamala inata na udunyo kanne ide fana nata na gambe bango.
Ora kan adol manta hanyire ban nata
Yes. Although I was not very brave, but at least I decided to hold on to
What happened? The
faith and
disappearing act abandoned you or what?
Muna keta fo yeman silo ni jamfala ban fo mune.
Birim bina koreke na fon ba manya ko man ko ya imura nga ya asombe dingo tede dingo muda kote na bandal.
When I wanted to come back, my mother said, no, that's not safe, let me come back. I told her, Assembly's son will not touch me anymore again.
Biren nara dol fon ko be hakil toure ni ko be muda yamborendi ngo ndela boro bandale me yamborondi wala boro tuta.
When I came, some people stood by me and they were ready to smuggle me out of the country if anything is about to happen. I told them, for me, running has come to an end. But now it is Yaya Jammeh's time to run and leave this country.
Tell us how you felt being out of Gambia in exile, leaving your family behind.
Afonye bang ite yo ko kete fe nyaadi le ka taramane iborte la banko ka itar mane yela dimbal fili ko majang o ko kete fe nyaadi le
ko nga fa nyame comment ni kulu anen ni dalindo ka duna ko lalu duni pro si kudo.
Yes,
just as
yes, just as I said, I trained myself to bear hardships. If you are able to bear hardships, when these things happen to you, you will not feel anything. Just like our former holy men, a lot of them went through hardships, but they were able to bear, and they survived. So the same thing also, I did the same thing.
How about your family, your wives and children? Do you know how they felt with you being absent?
idingol dungani la muso fo yalo ne ko tembo men be num mane fo yalo ne wol keta no nyaadi ila kuota nyaadi le
ay family be demi ay be tora ay lonyo be tora e fe ila nyom mo ye fo wala ay be suno mol sudada na nyame suno kabar wala nyama ba suno banko be ben sa ko family ni nawululalo.
Everybody was unhappy about this. My family members, my followers, my students, everybody was annoyed and sad about what happened to me. But I have to do what I did. So because of my parents, my immediate family, they were all unhappy and they felt it. It was hard on them.
Who was taking care of them during your absence?
Tembo men be num mane ila dimbayal ni ila musolu jumala ke tarde ila kol topoto kan
ndo malo umaru nyolo ani maro nyolo siaga nyolo men bento doron e manne bondo beden boda yanna dimbal la kulta ila balolo bande mo jama dan mota junale ndala kafo siara juna nasin kiro mo ke metara je o siara sanje mo wonde bide mo ke melolu bembulu nasin kiro to it was
my younger brothers and friends like Omar and friends like Siaka and others. Well, I gathered a lot of friends a long time ago, and I used to have a large family under me. Up to now, in fact, I think I have about 500 people now in my family. I'm taking care of them. And that started a long time ago.
Did he say 500 followers or 500 members of my family?
500 people who I take care of. They are just like family to him.
Thank you very much, Bakawsu. Imam. Thank you for answering all my questions. I hand over to the chairman, and you promise to give me some of that after. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you, Imam Bakawsu Fofana, for your testimony.
Chairman, Inumbara Council, Inumbara Bakawsu, ila CDRO kan.
Sise kunda kol sana wol Seattle, malam Fofana bolu kono leba.
Sisekunda people has a lot of bantamate. I don't know whether Fofana is also part of those bantamates.
Nim Fofana bolu kono, Imam kanan dema folode.
If Fofana happens to be part of them, then you have not yet escaped me.
Ni yema unyi lafte wole ko indi. Yemanta fonyole kono bang fo yemante mo nyalle fendi melbe sindi sirum gongon.
I want you to clarify this disappearing act.
Kadu
Did you disappear from the building or outside, or how did you do it?
amanjere kullo be wanyar.
Don't reveal all the secret.
Nsilanta dame mfolo.
Where I felt fear.
Ngamira e tasalo nyin yachika nko nyendong sanku yana solbe nyin kono bang nyin bina yema ne bam fomo.
The moment you took up that kettle, I said, well, is it spiritual water from Sankuya, or is this man ready to disappear?
Mala membe tasalo nyin kono de bari be delbe jubero ke kanne ka fo fonyabe finna bam fonyade finna malo.
I don't know what is in that kettle because I was thinking whether my eyes will become dark and I will not see anything or whatever is going to happen.
Bari yemanta nyamento la so ni so le fono molie imankullo nyimbe wanyar ifonyo male yemanta bang fo molle nya findi bunkon.
Then how you disappeared is what I want to know. Don't reveal the secrets, but how it took place. Where did you disappear into thin air or whatever, or how did you do it?
Wala Carola.
On that side,
I Mr. Mayor.
To be a Muslim
Anen Talbea.
and to be a student.
Ananga for ya jamen nasioto.
I even told Yaya Jammeh when I sat with him.
Anga kwana hafizo kama na kwana kamelung.
I told him Hafiz al-Quran, that's somebody who has mastered the Quran.
Yala nyumo kaito lelde.
These are papers.
Ba bide kwano safa baladuna hormata.
But the moment they wrote the Al-Quran on those papers, it became holy.
Yen kaito to malesi menke ola ita kila kwana kaito la.
The ordinary papers, what you can do with them, you cannot do that with the Quran.
Nemo kwano tanga ofuna kudo fembala mori.
Somebody who masters the Quran is another thing.
In 2010,
In 2010,
most of the America.
there was somebody in America
Ako bin Laden la bomba luomen na.
and said the day Bin Laden destroyed their house,
Tomando November 11.
or November 11,
Akona sira be kwana kamelon janela.
he said if he sits down, he will burn up the camel, that's the Quran.
Obama fon ya dani.
His mother, in fact, begged him.
Akata America la loi wande dino boko ni aja ne loi be ku kele.
He said, this is not part of American law. This is a foreign religion. If you burn their book, the law will have something to do with you.
Ke oda na kana ko anoja ne misi mo le horma fon lo.
She begged his son not to burn it. This thing is something very holy to the Muslim people.
Ya aja me ko ni wo ko anoja ne yala di amodo sallum.
What did Yaya said on the day of prayers, Eid day? He said, if that man burns the Quran,
Akode America banko watila.
he said that will not be peace for the whole American country.
Olongo fo ya aja me nka ko ndefna ko ano tankale.
That day, I told Yaya Jammeh, I also has mastered or I have memorized the
Quran.
Quran. This kind of Quran, there are 30 of them. I told him I have memorized all those 30 different books. The man who burns the Quran, if that man has trouble, somebody who has mastered the Quran or memorized the Quran, if you touch that man, you will not have peace. The students, they have a lot of soldiers. When Taifa people stoned the Prophet during daytime, it was an angel who came to the Prophet and told the Prophet that if you want, I will destroy this whole village, I will curse them. If you touch an educated person, then you have touched a lot of people. So a lot of people, you have offended a lot of people. And many jinns also. And many angels also. Allah gives orders any way that he wants to help people, that's the way that help will come. Since you started sitting at these tables here, my coming here will be more famous or powerful than all the others in the world. When you touch Bakawsu, you have touched a lot of people. so many people and so many other things help him that you cannot see.
Bakawsu
is a big marabu.
Thank you very much indeed. It's very clear that the secrets of your disappearance will remain secret. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Imam Jallo le lafte nyinin kala.
Alaji Bakawsu.
Alaji Bakawsu.
I thought I heard you say that in 2009 we prayed with Mecca.
Ako ngamera, he prayed with who?
He prayed with Mecca. The Gambian population prayed with Mecca.
Akaya moy 2009 Gambian kol ni makankolu salta nyolale.
Is that so?
Ako faketa wala nyama bang.
Nen kansula kankola doluka salla nen doluka balan bay ka ke ko bankola salda bay president ka sal.
Well, that's what they announce. When the council announces these things, some people pray and they announce that it is the whole country who prayed.
Now, there are many years that we in the Gambia here have prayed with Mecca.
Sanji jama soton tentel Gambia jan nim makankolle ka salinyola lunkiling.
We have sighted the moon several times together with Mecca at the same time.
Nim makankole karoje nyola sinya jamale lunkilingola.
What advice do you give to the population about this question of sighting the moon? Should we continue to peg our prayers, our sighting of the moon to the appearance of the moon or not?
Ako sila be mu yamarle di la Gambian kolla. Na salo mba denna karole la ni nyaaya je bang fodum silang nyanta munekela ete be mu yamarla munela.
Wala ni nyaaya karoje nga sun nga sale nenna jero ne makati abenda ngata nyola. Ba saata na jero len sale ndo len sunni.
But what I'm going to say is that when we sight the moon, we fast or we pray. When it coincides with the people of Makkah seeing the moon at the same time, we go along with them.
Come nunda bola nyama waro dol na jero ka ben waro da ka fonyo ko baren ka sun na jero la hanen ni benda.
Well, that's how it was before. When they sight the moon, sometimes we all sight it on the same day, we go along together on the same day. Sometimes we have these deviations. But still, we should follow the same norm.
About those sects who say if they don't have ndigal, they will not fast or they will not pray.
Ako, molumen ko, ni may amaro soto, ite sunna wala ite salla. Iba mo na follow it.
Ya fo ela may la yamar molla ni be sunna wane ko banko yesun ela kari jewala ela yamar molo e be badno nin sato la alla imamo banko la imamo wala alla kansula alla nyaron ko alla yamar molo amanke nta nafo e kana sun kansulo yamar soko de aninte sunno la makalla jero.
Well, I'm not what I'm saying is people should listen to those who advise them. We take advice from people. When they sight the moon, we follow them. And we take their advice as far as it is genuine. So when Makkah sights the moon, we should follow them.